Hi everyone, it's Refresh, and I am here to bring you a build of a sealed deck for Dominaria. I have 6 booster packs here. I'm going to open them. I'm going to show you all the cards that I opened, and then I'm going to go ahead and do some evaluation and build the deck. And once I'm done with this deck, I'll build a second deck. And then after that, I will play them against each other as well as the challenge decks from Theros block. But first, let's open some packs. We have a Knight of Dominaria, Befuddle, Skirk Prospector, Gift of Growth, Soul Salvage, Navigator's Compass, Cloudvator Sphinx, Fiery Intervention, Blood Tallow Candle, Demonic Vigor, Cast Down, Sage of Letnam, Jaya's Immolating Inferno, Tetsuko Umezawa, a Forest, and a Sapperling. Pack 2 we have a Knight of Dominaria, Befuddle, Skirk Prospector, Sergeant at Arms, Mana Spider, Feral Abomination, Guardians of Koilos, Baloth Gorger, Rescue, Knight of Grace, Sanctum Spirit, Kamal's Druidic Vow, a foil Mirari Conjecture, Yargle, Glutton of Urborg, Plains, and a Night Token. Pack 3 we have a Fire Elemental, Dub, Tolarian Scholar, Gaia's Protector, Dark Bargain, Voltaic Servant, Run Amok, Gideon's Reproach, Thallid Omnivore, Jousting Lance, the Eldest Reborn, Thorn Elemental, Thrawn's Temporal Gateway, Baird, Steward of Argive, Mountain, and Cleric. Pack 4 gets us a Gitu Journey Mage, an Excavation Elephant, Hammered Explorer, Gitu Lava Runner, Rat Colony, Corrosive Ooze, Rampaging Cyclops, Broken Bond, Mesa Unicorn, Divination, Elfheim Druid, On Sarah's Wings, Precognition Field, and Rona, Disciple of Gix, and a Forest and a Goblin token. Pack 5 includes a Bloodstone Goblin, Invoke the Divine, Opt, Stronghold Confessor, Pierce the Sky, Seismic Shift, Voltaic Servant, Eviscerate, Pardic Wanderer, Sapperling Migration, Fight with Fire, Urza's Tome, Sorcerer's Wand, Varix Bladewing, Plains, and a Sapperling. A Hammered Explorer, Gitu Lava Runner, Sarah Disciple, Tolarian Scholar, Windgrace Acolyte, Arbor Armament, Academy Journey Mage, Keldon Overseer, Baloth Gorger, Guardians of Koilos, Memorial to Genius, Joria's Familiar, Jasu Ves Lich Knight, Tetsuko Umezawa Fugitive, and a Mountain and a Sapperling token. Now let's take a look at all the cards and see which colors are strong. Sarah Disciple is really only good if you're playing the historic deck. Invoke the Divine is a decent sideboard card. On Sarah's Wings is quite powerful. Mixed Unicorn's a decent ground beater. Excavation's Elephant's only really good if you're playing the historic deck. Baird is a pretty good ground beater. Gideon's Reproach is removal. Dub is okay. Sanctum Spirit is okay, especially if you're playing the historic deck. Knight of Grace is good for a ground beater. Sergeant of Arms is okay, especially if you're playing the Go Wide deck. Knight of Dominaria, both of them are mediocre. I'd only really play them if I was playing a very aggressive deck. So white isn't that impressive. We have a few decent cards here, but nothing that is outstanding. And so I'd probably play it as a support color, but there are probably better options here. Tetsuko's good in a very few limited kinds of decks. Aggressive, evasive type decks, generally. Memorial to Genius is a decent card draw option. Academy Journey Mage is good tempo. Tolarian Scholar's filler. Hammered Explorer is kind of filler as well. Opt is okay. Precognition Field is a bit on the weak side. It is kind of card draw, but it's not the best card draw. It's very slow. So I would play it if I was playing some sort of controlling deck. Divination is card draw. More Hammered Explorer, more Tolarian Scholar. Mirari Conjecture is okay if I'm playing the spells deck, and only if I'm playing the spells deck. So keep that in mind for the spells deck. Rescue is very conditional. I think I would only play it if I absolutely had to. Befuddle is another controlling type card. I play it if I was playing a controlling or spells deck. It's more Tetsuko. Sage of Letnam is good for historic deck, and pretty much just that deck. Cloudvator Sphinx is good. Very evasive. There's another Befuddle. I'm not especially impressed with blue either. there's not much in the way of game winners. There's some decent card draw here, but that's what we're looking at here for blue. And it's not the most compelling color at the moment. Black. Jazuves is the bomb, so I definitely like that. Windgrace Acolyte is evasive, so I like that. We have removal in Eviscerate. Stronghold Confessor can be. It's versatile, but I don't love it. Rat Colony is only good with a lot of Rat Colony. Eldest Reborn is kind of removal card advantage, and I like it a lot. Valid Omnivore is good if you're playing the Saproling deck or a deck that has a lot of tokens. We'll keep it in mind, but it doesn't get great until you have that. Dark Bargain is card draw, so it's not bad. Yargle is quite limited in his uses, probably only good for decks that have some way of giving Yargle great evasion, or decks that need specifically historic cards or legendary cards. Feral Abomination is like Yargle, not especially great. It's a fine beater. Cast Down is also good removal. Demonic Vigor is a bit of a limited boost, so I don't like it that much. Soul Salvage is kind of like card draw, but not the best card draw. I like black specifically because of these top 4 cards, which are card advantage, bomb, and removal. And I would probably play it if I could. Even if it's not really thick enough to be a main color, it has enough to be a support color. For red, Keldon Overseer is an okay aggressive card. D2 Lava Runner is okay if you're playing the spells deck, or if you're playing an aggressive deck with spells. Varix Bladewing's a bomb. Fight with Fire is removal. Seismic Shift is a bit limited. I would play it if I was playing a very aggressive deck, or in sideboard. Bloodstone Goblin is just a guy. He can be good if you're playing a lot of kicker. Rampaging Cyclops is okay as far as guys go, but it's not the best. There's another G2 Lava Runner. G2 Journey Mage is okay. It's not great, but something I would consider playing. Run Amok is an okay combat trick. Fire Elemental is not an especially great guy. A lot of memories built in with this one, but definitely not high pick. Skirk Prospector is a very limited option here. Gyres Immolating Inferno can be great if I have enough legendary creatures. Right now, it's just Varix in red, but if I were to get, say, Jasu, some Tetsukos, or so forth, then Gyres Immolating Inferno might actually be worth playing. But it's a very conditional removal spell. Fiery Intervention, on the other hand, is pretty good. And then there's another Skirk Prospector. Red is also quite tempting because of Varix and the removal spells, and the chance that maybe Gyres Immolating Inferno would go off. But I'd want at least, I don't know, 4 or 5 legendary creatures. Varix is double legendary, so that's kind of nice. But I'd want at least 4 or 5 before I consider playing it. And then the rest of the guys in red aren't that bad, so I think red is a high contender for a first choice color. Now looking at green, Bailiff Gorge is okay, can grow. Arbor Armament is really just a sideboard card. Cyberwing Migration I like. Pierce the Sky is also a sideboard card, better than Arbor Armament. Elfhame Druid is good ramp, so I like that as well. Broken Bond is more sideboard. Corrosive Ooze is just a beater. Thorn Elemental is a kind of win condition, so it's not bad. But I wouldn't play green just for Thorn Elemental. Gaia's Protector is pretty weak. Kamal's Druidic Vow is probably not playable at all. Bailiff Gorger is okay. Mana Spider is a decent ground blocker. And Gift of Growth is an okay combat trick. Overall, I'd say that green isn't great. There's not a lot going on here that is that impressive. We have Elfhame Druid, Thorn Elemental, and Cyberwing Migration, but everything is pulling me right now towards red and black. Let's take a look at our artifacts. We have Joyous Familiar, not bad if you're playing more historic cards. Same with Guardians of Koilos. It's not especially good. I'd really only play it if I was playing a lot of historic cards. Sorcerer's Wand is only good in the Wizards deck. Urza's Tome is not a bad card filtering option, so I'm definitely going to consider playing that. Particle Wanderer is okay if I just need a body, but it's not like a great choice. Voltaic Servant's okay if I need a body, but again, it's not a great choice. It doesn't tap artifacts, so if there's an artifact that I do want to use it with, that might not be so bad. Thrawn's Temporal Gateway is very limited in use. Jousting Lance is not bad if you're playing an aggressive deck. There's more Voltaic Servant or Guardians of Koilos. Blood Tallow Candle is an okay, expensive removal card. I'd play it if I needed more removal. Navigator's Compass is not playable unless you really need the fixing. Finally, we have Rona, Disciple of Gix. Rona's quite good I would play it if I was playing those two colors, and I might even splash for it if I had the fixing and I needed the extra benefit that Rona's card advantage would give. I think it's pretty safe to say that black-red is going to be my base, and then I might consider splashing. So let's go ahead and take a look at what that would get us. Varix, fight with fire, fire intervention, maybe Giant's Immolating Inferno, Keldon Overseer, Bloodstone Goblin, Journey Mage, Rampaging Cyclops, Run Amok. I don't really like these Lava Runners. I probably won't play them. I don't really like Fire Elemental. I probably won't play it. I definitely won't play Scarlet Prospectors or the Seismic Shift. Josu Vest is definitely in. Cast Down is in. Eviscerate is in. Eldritch Reborn is in. Green Grace Acolyte is in. Dark Bargain's a maybe. Soul Savage is a maybe. But it's especially good with Varix and Josu, so. That on Navor, I probably consider playing it. Confessor, I might have to play it. Red Colony, I would not play. Feral Abomination, I would consider. Yargle, I might consider just because he's another legendary, moving me towards being able to cast Jaya's Immolating Inferno. Demonic Vigor, I probably would not play. Alright, into this. We could add Joyous Familiar. I don't love it, but it's a card. We have a Bloodtello Candle here, Urza's Tome here, and a Jousting Lance. If I needed more creatures, I could add some of these as well. But we need to consider whether or not that's going to be worth it for this deck. So right now, what do we have in terms of creatures? 15. What do we have in terms of instants and sorceries? We have 7 instants and sorceries here. That might be enough to get Gitu Lava Runner going, but I don't know if this deck is that kind of aggressive attack Gitu Lava Runner deck. Feels a bit more slower, trying to win with my bombs. The Gitu Lava Runners do work well with the Journey Mage, and that's pretty much the only reason I would keep it. Even the Journey Mage itself is not especially convincing, but I do need something on the ground to hold this deck up until I can play one of the bombs. And if I played the Sorcerer's Wand, then they would have some purpose even after they get outclassed by other creatures. But I think that 3 Wizards is not going to be enough to play a Sorcerer's Wand. So rather than the Gitu Lava Runners, I think I'd rather play the Voltaic Servants as ways to slow down the early game. Pardic Wanderers a maybe in place of Feral Abomination. How many legendary creatures do we have? We have 3, Yargle, Josu, and Varix. And Varix's brother is also a legendary creature. So there's 4 possibles. Soul Savage would give us the ability to get those back, which might be enough to play Jaya's Immolating Inferno. Now, cards of these that are the least likely for me to play are Bloodstone Goblin is just a guy, I'm not really that fond of it. Joyous Familiar would cause Yargle, Pardic Wanderer, Varix, Josu, the Voltaic Servants, and Eldritch Reborn, Urza's Tome, Jousting Lance, and Bloodtello Candle to cost less. Oh, as well as Jaya's Immolating Inferno. And I think that might be worth playing Joyous Familiar in that case. Violet Omnivore does not have anything to eat, because I don't really generate tokens in this. And Fire Elemental is kind of disappointing as well. And Feral Abomination doesn't do a whole lot at its size either. And so I'm really considering cutting those, along with the Bloodstone Goblin. I think Stronghold Confessor is good enough for its purpose. And the Gitu Journey Mage, which is not great, because it doesn't get its secondary effect, is still a 3/2 for 3. And it's something that I might need, just to fill out the curve, that is. I think I have enough removal. And the Bloodtello Candle is probably not worth it, because there's no other benefits to playing artifacts, so let's remove that. I don't like the Fire Elemental. I think it's too weak, so we'll remove that as well. I feel like we can do without Run Amok. I need to make 2 more cuts. I guess I'll remove Dark Bargain as card draw. I have enough card advantage, the repeatable card advantage with the Urza's Tomb, and the Soul Savage, which is probably a little bit more important for me in order to get Jaya's Immolating Inferno consistently up if I lose one of my legendary creatures. And then 1 more card needs to be cut. Of these, I think the Feral Abomination is probably playing the least important role as a 5/5 Death Toucher. So if I cut that, then it looks like I have a decent deck. Now let's see what we need in terms of lands. Josu Vest makes 11 black symbols. There are 11 black symbols and 11 red symbols, and so I think if I split the lands fairly evenly, that should work. It looks like most of my lower drops tend towards red, and so I will put 9 mountains in here and 8 swamps. Alright, that's 9 mountains and 8 swamps, and that is a deck. Let me know what you thought about the deck in the comments below. If you enjoyed this, hit like for me, hit subscribe if you'd like to see more such videos, and I'll be back with a build of the next sealed deck that this will be playing against. Until then, this was Refresh. Thanks for watching, and I will see you next time.